a great way to reveal that if the game had actually existed. The second shadowy figure, I suppose, could have therefore been Michael, another purple character from Sister Location that is often mistaken for his father. Following one is bad and one is good. Michael rebels against his father once.
Like I said, if you're going with like a different thing, people in shadows by their purple, this is William. This is Henry. Grayman is Murray, because that would be from Secret of Mimic.
He figures out what's going on, and so he's there to help Chica to free the child's spirits. In the FNAF 2 movie, he did seem to have some control over the toy animatronics, while Afton...
I think the movie was, in FNAF world, a production of Fazcorp blaming the Aftons. And making light of the situation, drawing less attention from, it being real. What's up, everybody? Celtic Yaker here, back with our reaction at those 10s and 20 views. Testing out a little thing with the vertical thing, very short for my main channel. So that won't affect nothing here. Today we are reacting to Game Theory with 4 other people. Ray Toast, T-Dreads, Gibby's Horrors Homestead, and the Unwithered Truth. Okay, that's pretty cool. But first, I went on a noble quest today, hence why I'm testing the vertical. And why I'm not gaming right now. And on my noble quest, I found I struck gold. And then I struck like silver. Struck silver was at the last stop. It was this one. Bam! I got Silent Hill 2. I think I spent a little too much money on it. But it's the black label, which means it is slightly more worth it. So now I can do Season 3 of Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill 2. But that leads to where I struck gold. I went north, out of my way. Because my Jersey's shaped weird. You go to North Jersey, you can get to like almost Philly just about times you can get to it at South Jersey. I went to a place called Kill Screen Gaming in Asbury Park. A link to their Facebook page, it will be down in the description. Cool place, started off great. I got to pet a guy's dog, so that's always a good sign. But they had it. They had original Silent Hill. And I got it right around what I figured I was going to be paying for it. So that's going to be coming to stream shortly. Alright, but enough of that. Let's get to the reason why here. Game Theory. I'm going to say it because I'm well past the 7-second mark. What the fuck is Chica's Secret Party? I'm doing this because I have a few game theories on FNAF, and I want to get back into it. But before I do that, I want to replay the Five Nights at Freddy's. So that's it. So let's see what this is and see if I agree or disagree. See, here's the page. This is 4. With it, make this full screen. We will give these gentlemen and potential lady, I'm guessing not, the respect they deserve. Let's get to it.
What is Chica's Secret Party? This mystery entry in the latest Ultimate Guide has
I had not seen that there's a new Ultimate Guide, and I just thought past Barnes & Noble. I could have picked it up.
stumped theorists the world over. So I have gathered some of the greatest minds in the FNAF theorist community to see if we can solve it.
Where's Matt Pat, then? Where's Matt Pat?
Truth is, we need your help.
Okay.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that loves its favorite franchise, Five Nights at Freddy's by Scott Cortho.
Yeah, it might be the one that launched you guys.
Though I say that, it can be a lonely existence. Just sitting in a room, walls covered in nonsensical writings, dents in my desk from banging my head against it, and nothing has me more confused in my time as a FNAF theorist than when I saw Chica's Secret Party. In case
So, I have a theory on FNAF. I'll go in more details later on in the video. There are no children trapped inside robots. Actually, no, I think there's 2 kids trapped inside robots. Everybody else is actually the Mimic.
You don't know, Chica's Secret Party is the quote-unquote secret game that was on Scott's website for only 3 days in 2016. You play as Toy Chica, although the guide just calls her Chica, and you deliver cake to crying children throughout a home while avoiding shadowy figures and encountering other animatronics and characters. It also teased the reveal of what was inside the elusive FNAF 4 box. The thing is, this game never existed. I am 1000% sure of that. This thing supposedly came out in 2016, around the time of Sister Location. You know, the time where we were checking Scott's website daily to look for hints. The pages were leaked before release though, and immediately people jumped to the conclusion that this book was AI generated.
See, this is where I dislike AI. Like, I use AI and I use it for like images like this, you know. Then I'm going question for video games. Hey, look, I don't know. I added that in. I need to add in the dot hack games then for the next quest. Because like it's like, oh, it's AI, it's done that. I'm like, damn. But I use it just for little things.
And that this was just one of many mistakes. The way it talked about things felt off. The game mechanics were inconsistent. The screenshots felt like reskins of previous minigames we've already seen. Not to mention the fact that the Ultimate Guides of old haven't been the most accurate. However, despite these points, I don't believe this is AI. While yes, the gameplay feels nonsensical, it doesn't sound like AI typically
Well, nonsensical was a lot of those mini games from what I've seen.
would. Also, the rest of the book, while having some errors, is mostly accurate. So it would be weird for all of them.
See, I have a theory. It's one of my theories that in the world of Five Nights at Freddy's, so not like our world, the actual, you know, in-game world, there's 3 truths all going on at the same time. There's what really happened at the locations. And I think that's like certain games like FNAF 1 and Sister Location kind of are real events. Then you have the games that the Fazbear Entertainment is putting out to distract people from what's really going on. And 3, I think there's a third person trying to get the story out in their own unique way. I theory on that is Henry Emily's actual older daughter and I think it was Henry's older daughter, and maybe another acting person, I can't remember.
Mistakes to end up on just these pages and not throughout the entire book. And finally, while Scott doesn't have the best track record with fact-checking, it feels like it would be a lot for him to not notice an entire new game that just got slipped in for 4 whole pages. It's even referenced in the table of contents. Scott 100% knew about this thing, and he left it in. DJ Sturf even confirmed as such in a response to a fan, and he works on these books. And when asked about it on Dorko's live stream, Scott just said, gotta go. A classic Scott trolling move there. But that means there is something to this chapter that we can solve. So
I think right now we can solve that. It was probably a real game. It was supposed to come out in 2016. And he shelved it or fused it into a different game.
What is it? Well, I've asked a bunch of friends of mine to put our heads together to see if we can finally crack this thing. These guys have also been putting in the work to figure out what the heck's going on, so I wanted to highlight their efforts towards the cause, give you my interpretations too, and see if by the end of it we can either find a solution or if we can at least set up the building blocks you need to help us solve this thing. I mean, Matt did this all the way back with the survival guide, and in a month the community solved it. So let's see if we can do that again.
I actually had that one somewhere behind me.
But before we dive into that, I have a special announcement. Today's the day. Today, we finally launch our brand new fan society, the Theoryverse. We've been hyping it up for weeks, but now it's finally here. I am genuinely so excited.
I have no idea what this is.
We've been working really hard on a bunch of new shows, like our game show, Just a Theory, our hot takes debate show, Dead Wrong. I even taught Amy how to play FNAF.
Don't touch my controls! I am
Mostly. We've also got a bunch of special perks and exclusive theory videos that YouTube would simply bury in the algorithm or demonetize. Like I said, loads of exciting stuff, and it's available to you right now. We've even got 3 different price points to match your financial needs and interests. There's our Armchair Theorists for $6 a month, which gets you access to those new shows shows I mentioned, Amy Plays, Dead Wrong, and Just a Theory, plus access to our private Discord server, community pages, updates, and games. If you
That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty fair.
want even more, you can also become a theory crafter, where you'll get all of that plus Insider Theory, our inside look at how theories get made, our exclusive theory episodes, bloopers from episodes, and you can even take part in live AMAs, votes on future episodes, game nights, and get special merch discounts, all for just $12.
Okay, again, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair. You figure that's like, what, $124 a year versus $6, which no, $124. 24 times 7. Yeah, 124 versus 60 plus another $72.
A month. However, if you pay for a year up front, you get 2 months absolutely free. And on top of that, if you sign up within the next week using my link in the description or the QR code on screen, you will receive the Founders Rate, a 10% discount from the Theory Crafter tier, basically a thank you for supporting us as we begin this new journey. And
I will say, I'm putting this out 3 days. So all this is still going on. I'm not putting the Theoryverse thing in the link. Well, sorry guys. I'll do merch, not your own page.
if you can't afford any of those right now, or you're not sure whether these shows are your cup of tea, don't worry, we're also offering a Theorist Apprentice tier that is completely free. You'll get access to 1 free episode a month, plus our weekly newsletter so you can see what's going on. Try it out.
I will definitely insult them here. I would have this set up so you get access to the new shows like a month and behind. Know what I mean? Like, hey, here, like, yes, you want this. This gets you everything right up front. This gets you this like a month behind. That's what I would do.
Out and see if it's right for you. Once again, thank you all so much for the awesome support we've seen so far and for supporting these channels to the point where we can do all of this in the first place. You guys are the best and we're so excited for this next era of theorists. And remember, nothing on the channels is going away. Weekly videos on your favorite video game franchises will still be here. So enter the Theoryverse with us today.
Also, if I was them, I would have those channels somewhat join the YouTube side. But like I said, like a month or two after it originally comes out on their channel. So it's like, oh yeah, if you watch this, they're like, guys, I don't have that. FS hasn't come out yet on YouTube.
They're using the link in the description with the code Founder Special for that discount. But that's enough self-promotion. It's time for us to really dive into Chica's secret party. Now, I've already given you guys a rough overview of this thing, but as I know, many of you don't buy these books, and I do because I'm clearly a masochist. So
Also, it's your job. Like, if my theory videos actually took off and I had to do stuff like that, I would have all the books, and I'm dyslexic. Also, you guys buy the books, you show it off there first, and then not a tax write-off.
let me tell you guys exactly what this chapter tells us. The first thing we're told about are the characters we'll be focusing on: Chica, the babies, and the shadow figures. Chica's goal is to collect pink cupcakes that she can scoop up, and we all know what happens whenever we hear that word. Throughout the levels, Chica is to deliver these cupcakes to crying babies to make them happy. The more babies she makes happy, the more they power up her life force, giving her special abilities. Again, some strange choice of words. Life force in this franchise feels connected to Remnant in some way, the mysterious soul goo that Afton used to power up the Funtime animatronics, and would tie back to the Scoop comments. In the FNAF 2 movie, we also saw that the toy animatronics are all Springlock animatronics. We even see the same thing in the Into the Pit game. The Endos in that game look like the Endo 02 models.
I said, I have a theory. It's not so much Remnant, it's just, I don't know, the Remnant one could still be actual, but is it more or less, could Remnant be something else if you were to shift it to like code or memory? Because it's like, my theory is that like when they get spring locked in, the AI, aka the mimic, myth guy, like somehow electronically downloads all the kids' memories trapped in their soul, which basically are memories, in the suits.
Same as the toys, but we're seeing kids getting trapped inside them. So the idea of Chica going around and collecting life force could be connected to that in some way.
The Bush Guide, cold and smooth survival skills.
My watch is broken.
You could tell time by measuring the sun's distance from the horizon.
Finally, there's the
Sorry, ad.
shadow figures. Because this game couldn't just be a classic minigame, it also had to have stealth attached to it, where we need to follow one of the shadowy figures to discover who the person is behind the shadow without getting caught. We've, of course, had our run-ins with shadowy characters in this franchise, although we do know the identity of most of them, so I'm not really sure what the reveal is here.
The only thing I think the reveal could be is, okay, of course, is William Afton. This is the guy from. Sorry, I'm getting too close. My model thing. The guy from Secret of the Mimic. Like, if he was going to introduce this guy then, and Chica was the one that's like, oh, cool, these are the actual two guys who came up with this, that'd be actually pretty entertaining. Why can't I remember it? All right, give me a second. Stop posting. Why can't I remember the guy's name? You go to PlayStation. Murray. Yeah, so if this guy here, is William Afton.
Apparently, if we identity of most of them, so I'm not really.
So if this is like William Afton and this is Edwin Murray, be revealed early on, but actually been a cool.
Really sure what the reveal is here. Apparently, if we follow the wrong one, something bad will happen. So I guess we'd better get it right.
That's William Afton.
Right, but with that, it's time for the gameplay. We're told that this is a 3-story house with 10 levels to complete. 2 bedrooms.
Again, could that be Edwin Murray's mansion? And could that have been like oh my god, I solved it in 5 seconds. Chica is the mimic of what's his face? Edwin Murray's wife. And that's what's going on. Oh my god. Genius. I'm a genius.
A secret room, a bathroom, a kitchen and dining room, a living room, a home office, a garage, a basement, and an attic. It's a bit of a maze, and so Chica can occasionally ask for help from Fredbear, although he's not always the most talkative.
Or Chica isn't actually an animatronic. It's the person in the suit. I had a theory that each animatronic represented a friend of the initial friend group of Henry, Emily, and William Afton. You know, Henry was he played Foxy. Yeah, Foxy. William Afton played Bonnie. Chica was played by somebody else, played by a different Afton. I said William Afton's sister, or William Afton's love interest, and then you got Fredbear.
Makes sense. Nothing could ever be truly helpful in this franchise. The basement is filling up with water.
Yeah, I think that was my theory. Fredbear was William Afton's older brother, the prodigal son, aka William. Bonnie was William Afton. He was the second, always seems to be second fiddle. Henry, Emily was the kind of outsider, one who didn't fit. That makes him Foxy. And Chica was either an Afton sister or William Afton's love interest, who actually end up falling in love with William Emily. That was my theory.
And you have a 3-minute timer to feed the babies. Do it, and they rise with the water up to the top and escape out the window. Children ascending after Chica makes them happy and gains their life force? Sounds like happiest day to me. Completing the mission gives Chica a block of cheese, and this apparently triggers Fredbear into talking about the dog who loves pizza. Sure, why not? But there are more rooms to...
That could be Foxy. He could easily mistake for a dog.
Explore. The kitchen is relatively straightforward too. Just feed the babies and avoid the dog by feeding it the pizza that Fredbear told us about. The living room, on the other hand, is a little tougher, with the lights flashing on and off and babies changing location, and one of the shadow figures trying to catch you in the darkness. In the master bedroom, Golden Freddy guards 2 cupcakes, but you need to obtain and offer him his black top hat to retrieve them. In the kids' bedroom, Chica has to pick up all the toys to gain a cupcake, but if you do both bedrooms, you unlock a secret room, a golden key, and a Snoop inside the FNAF 4 box. That stood out as interesting to me because 1, Scott said he didn't fully know what was in the box just a couple of years ago, but 2, we get to look in the box after we've cleared up all of the toys. In the FNAF 2 movie, we saw Vanessa open up a similarly suspicious box, and out of it came kids' toys, memorabilia, trophies that Afton had collected from each of his victims. Could that be?
Which is true, and if you're going that theory, then you could prove that there was way more kids, or there was no kids.
What was inside the box all along? I think it was John FNAF who actually theorized about that a little while ago. Anyway, we are then told about the office, which contains a mini safe and a strange grey man working at a desk. If you get the safe
Hey, it's Henry Emily.
code, the grey man warns you about the thing under the bed. So it seems like these levels might be out of order. I mean, we just did the bedroom with Golden Freddy under the bed. Weird. There's also a bathroom where Chica must drain the bathtub, which it specifically calls out has floating duck toys in it. If you drain it, you get a cupcake as well as some kind of mystery item, which the ultimate guide doesn't tell you. The garage has rats that are trying to stop Chica from getting the cupcakes, which is where the cheese comes in from earlier. So I guess they're not out of order, or they are, but they're not in reverse order. They're in a random order. Oh, what kind of guide is this? And finally, there's the attic. 10
Well, you figure if you're going to go on that, you would go up through the house.
hidden babies, 20 cupcakes, and a 3-minute timer. The room moves and shifts as you explore, and the shadowy figures are on the loose. But if you succeed, you win the game. Chica's secret party is over. The shadowy figures vanish, and you are joined by all of the characters we met. Fredbear, the Grey Man, Golden Freddy, oh yeah, and Bonnie. Yeah, apparently you can see him outside the window at one point. There's not a lot of explanation, it's strange. But they all dance together, and Chica joins in saying, the party doesn't have to end. And that's it. That's the end. So, as you can see, bit of a weird game, but also feels very open-ended, like there's something we're not seeing. As you kind of saw as I was going through, the things that jumped out to me felt lore relevant, like this entry was designed to teach us something about the lore that we'd previously misunderstood or missed. The idea of life force being remnant, the fact that Chica is making kids happy and they are ascending makes it feel like happiest day. David Afton, the crying child, died on his birthday, and so he and his friend's spirits couldn't move on until they received the party that was for them. But then there's also the idea of Toy Chica being a spring lock designed to capture kids. The game supposedly came out around the time of Sister Location. We don't exactly know when, it just says 2016. And Sister Location released that year, so it either was before.
So this could have been, and it's just a theory, within a theory, that this was entered in to correct something from Sister Location.
Or after its release. But in
Which, if my theory is correct, then Chica character was a sister in its own right. That could be something.
that game, we explore Baby's Entertainment and Rentals, a facility owned by Afton Robotics, full of FNAF characters that we recognize. Their job is to be sent out to children's birthday parties. But as we all know, the fun times have stomach hatches and mimicking devices to lure kids and capture them. So with this coming out around the same time, could this be essentially what we're seeing? Animatronics, in this case Chica, being sent out to capture kids and harvest their life force to create more remnant for Afton's schemes. I mean, Funtime Chica is missing in Sister Location. But then, why not make the sprite Funtime Chica? It's clearly yellow with pink pants, and that is definitely Toy Chica. But that ties into the shadowy figures and the Grey Man. We come across a Grey Man working at a desk, which sounds identical to the Grey Man we find in FNAF World. It's a Grey Man working at a desk. Now, the interpretations are...
Could the Gray Man be Edwin Murray? Like I said, if this is a party at Edwin Murray's house, and that's something that, oh my god, that actually fits a lot. Because it's like he was too busy and missed his one kid's birthday. Bang, got it.
around this character are a little vague. Is it a meta bit? And is this actually Scott sitting at the desk, overworked and horrified by his creation? Or, as some have theorized, is it Henry, due to it being the creator of the animatronics that have now become twisted from their original intent? Now,
or, like I said, could be Edwin Murray, someone who's seen missing birthday parties, who's also somehow connected with Chica.
I'm not here to argue those theories today, but it is weird we encounter the same character here in Chica's secret party. Either this is Scott once again self-inserting, but for seemingly no reason, or if this game is about freeing the spirits, then that was Henry's goal in FNAF 6, and that's why he's celebrating with everyone else at the end. He achieved his goal. And because this came out in 2016 before FNAF 6, was this game meant to be an interpretation or prediction of FNAF 6? The shadowy figures are also strange, with lines like, discover who the person is behind the shadow. My mind immediately went to William.
Again, if the gray man is Murray, then both purple guys would have been Henry Emily and William Afton. You follow Henry Emily, guy who's not a psychopath, is a serial killer. You live. You follow William, no. Yeah, we all know what happened.
William Afton. He's purple because he's standing in shadow. And up until Sister Location, we had very little idea who he actually was. It was only because of the Silver Eyes we had any idea what his name was, and then it got mentioned in the intro of Sister Location. So this would have been a great way to reveal that if the game had actually existed. The second shadowy figure, I suppose, could have therefore been Michael, another purple character from Sister Location that is often mistaken for his father. Following one is bad and one is good. Michael rebels against his father once.
Like I said, if you're going with like a different thing, people in shadows by their purple, this is William. This is Henry. Gray man is Murray, because that would be from Secret of Mimic.
He figures out what's going on, and so he's there to help Chica to free the child's spirits. In the FNAF 2 movie, he did seem to have some control over the toy animatronics, while Afton...
I think the movie was, in FNAF world, a production of Fazcorp, blaming the Aftons and making light of the situation, drawing less attention from, it being real.
Would therefore be there to stop you doing that. Or alternatively, William could be there as a maintenance person for the secret party, helping Chica to achieve the goal of collecting Remnant, while Michael is there trying to stop him. The issue is it's hard to figure out which way or the other it goes. Michael only goes against William once William is spring-locked, so it doesn't make sense for Michael to be helping or hurting his father's cause. I suppose there's a chance that Michael is acting like he did in the FNAF 2 movie, where he's following his father. This is in his I want to help father phase, but then why would being caught by either of them be a problem? Or wouldn't both of them be a problem? Literally, as I'm recording, I'm also thinking about Follow Me, which is that mini game in FNAF 3 where you end up dismantling the animatronics because you're following Shadow Freddy, and then
Shadow Freddy's just a mimic. It's been there the whole time. It's a computer program.
William catches you, and so that would be two shadowy figures, William and Shadow Freddy. And Shadow Freddy's identity has been a mystery for years at this point.
It's the mimic.
So this could have been a way to reveal Shadow Freddy's true intentions and how the Follow Me mini game works, again tying into these spirits being trapped and being released. But that only works if the game came out. With what we have, it doesn't feel like we get enough information to solve anything. I felt really stuck. Fortunately, I'm not the only one. And so this is where I want to introduce some of the other methods that have been used to try and solve this thing.
Okay. Yes, I'm pausing a lot, just because I want to get my own thoughts out, and, it's a reaction.
Dreads, for example, had an alternative way to interpret the characters we're seeing on screen.
Do you suffer from chronic neck or back pain and surgery has been recommended? The neurosurgeons at...
Well, hello there, theorists. Always wanted to do that. Thanks for having me.
Who hasn't?
But you see, Tom, while you were focusing on the interpretation that William Afton is one of the Shadow Men, you took another character very literally, Chica. Of course, we could say Toy Chica is Toy Chica, but if we go a level deeper with our interpretation, we've seen Toy Chica be interpreted as a stand-in for William Afton. Also, in Ultimate Custom Night, we have High School Toy Chica, who talks about luring each of her victims to her house and killing them in progressively violent ways, just like William lured these kids to a back room and...
I forgot about that. But yeah, I'm still going Chica being an Afton, but more a sister.
Killed them. If that reading applies here too, then at least one of these shadow figures could represent something that's actively trying to kill William. Maybe Henry or Michael. This interpretation gets stronger when you notice what interacting with the babies does. It's described as powering up Chica's life force, which, as you've mentioned, is a very obvious allusion to the idea of Remnant, the thing William was after. And the setting itself further adds to this idea, because while most of the minigame feels symbolic, it is grounded in a real location we all know. We're shown that it takes place in and around the Midnight Motorist house, the house where William went to after killing Charlie. And when you look into the house section of the chapter,
See, this is still a thing that they have theorized out there, that the Afton house is the Murray house. I think this took place long before the FNAF games, just on them. And it was back when they were still animatronics, which would go back to my theory of that being played by a real person, and it's either real girl.
Things get even more suspicious because we also learn there's a secret room, adding evidence to the idea that this is Afton's house, given that he would likely have a hidden room leading to his underground facility, a concept proven by both the sister location map through the depiction of the house connecting to the bunker and Secret of the Mimic, with a literal trolley carrying us from the underground facility into the house. Point is, all of the evidence found in this chapter keeps pointing toward one person, William Afton, his house, him extracting life force, the box. Like high school toy Chica, he lures victims back to his house, and there he can extract the remnant. But even after identifying all this, we have nowhere to go with it, and we reach the end of our rope.
As you can see, another fascinating interpretation of what we're
I still like my theory better.
seeing, but also another day.
Yeah, just so clarification, I know I'm going to say this. Right now, my working theory off basically everything I learned from game theory, which honestly I do that a lot. I base a lot of my stuff, use them as a kind of stepping stone. Is this is taking place before William and Henry had a big fallout, when they were first being successful, and everyone was still in costumes. Like I said, William played Bonnie, Henry played Foxy, he's the outsider of the group. Freddy, I think, is an older Afton brother. And Chica's being played by, either A, female Afton, or B, a love interest to William and Henry. So if she was gone there, I don't know, maybe give her baby fever. I don't know.
And as for what it's supposed to solve. And speaking
And the gray man is Edwin Murray.
of the FNAF 4 house, the box. Ryan and I spoke about this on Rise podcast, and they specifically pointed out that Chica goes to a house in the Fazbear Fright story Coming Home, where there is a secret room which contains Susie's stuffed toy, allowing her spirit to leave the house and move on with Chica. Could this toy box contain David Afton's favorite childhood toy, psychic friend Fredbear? Pause for sting. As a means to help him move on, like in Happiest Day? That would make this essentially the third retelling of Happiest Day, the second one being FNAF World. It's possible, but why? What is it trying to tell us that we've missed about that minigame? Although Ryan did have another possible interpretation, but I'll let him tell it.
Alright, rightos. Let's see. I don't know these other channels, but it's cool getting these guys shout outs.
Oh, hi there. So the other angle I considered after our 2-hour-long session was
Cat. Alright, we get to the judge background. Okay, well, we're gonna back him up so he's not
Tell it.
blocking the whole
Oh.
thing. Alright, so that looks like a cat thing for, El Cato here. These probably are the FNAF books. More. That's just a jumble mess. I approve. Another looks like action figures. Okay, cool. Cool. This shelf here. I have that. I had that D&D dice box. It's actually sitting right behind me. You have your own plushie. Jealous. 2 different Kirby's. More books. Totodile. Actually, Totodile. Good. The small little Freddy stuff. That Freddy pizza box. I don't know that. Sonic, obviously. Chica's Cupcake. Toy Freddy. Another Freddy. Another Freddy and a dog. I give this a good 8 out of 10.
Hi there. So the other angle I considered after our 2-hour-long session was the placement of the chapter itself. This entire guide is in chronological order of release. FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, you get it. But despite the fact that this game supposedly came out in 2016, it's not before or after Sister Location. It's in between Help Wanted 2 and Secret of the Mimic.
Ass. Right. Hopefully you're on the same page.
Why would that be? Unless it's not a hint to the past, but it's a hint to try to solve something from this modern part of the timeline. Rather than trying to solve the past, Scott gave this to us in order to predict the next game. This mysterious 2 sequel that he hinted at during Doggo's charity livestream. We also have a bunch of babies in this game. I think we counted nearly 30. We've never had a number that big before. And I also think you're right about the Life Force Remnant connection. So by combining those ideas, you get the Blob. This thing has been around since Security Breach, but like many things, we don't have an explanation for it. We've theorized that it's full of remnant and maybe agony of a bunch of missing kids due to all of the different animatronics that are a part of it. But
or it's actually given a real number of kids after. So, like, if they're trying to solve something else about it, it's like, okay, cool. William Afton actually went out and did a lot more damage than we think he did.
nothing really to connect it to. What if Chica's secret party is reminiscent of Happiest Day because it's meant to be a new Happiest Day, one that helps set free all the souls still trapped in the blob? Cassie has been set up in this story as a sort of savior. Steelwool themselves said it in their interview with FNAF.
When you compare like Gregory to Cassie, she's like the healer. Her natural inclination is to help the animatronics.
Yes.
During Security Breach, Gregory destroys all the animatronics, and during Ruin, Cassie not only sympathizes with them, but actively repairs Chica. And so now with her stuck in the bowels of the Pizzaplex, it could make sense for a Security Breach Ruin sequel for her to jump into a minigame like Happiest Day or Princess Quest and help free all the remaining souls trapped inside.
I still like my, they're not souls, they're just downloaded memories of the people that are stuffed inside of them.
Honestly, I really like this interpretation, purely because it answers the whole what is the point question. It gives us a definitive out, but then is it satisfying? Ryan and I have gone back and forth on this because yes, it would solve the blob finally, but it's a lot of attention to draw to a character who we have no idea how important they are. Plus, we both admit it's kind of clutching at straws trying to find meaning, which is why Gibby and Unwithered Truth took a different approach to solving this thing. Rather than trying to theorize their way out of a hole, they instead treated it like an ARG. They believed that there were puzzles hiding in the language or images that could lead us to the answers we seek. Gibby even did a 5-hour live stream trying to break this
God. Good on you, man.
down. Puts mine and Rye's 2-hour podcast to shame. But, well, I'll let them explain how that went.
You might be wondering how I got here. All I needed was paper towels.
Thanks, Tom.
You guys all did not do the hello game 3 thing. Come on. Okay, judge background. These look like all collectibles. I don't know that. That's a Funko. What's Funko? Alright. It's obviously Freddy. It's too dark, so 5.
I personally think the puzzle is about the FNAF 4 box. It's been about 2 years since Scott told Dawko that the FNAF 4 box was a dangling plot thread, and I think it's a very Scott thing to do to make this little AR.
Again, actually, no, I didn't say this one before. I think the box is actually the original code for the Mimic.
RG for us to solve the box after all these years.
Or it's a little puppet. It's the puppet, which is the original Mimic.
The fake game in this book supposedly came out in 2016, and that's around the time we may have expected Scott to actually give us the answer. The problem is we keep running into dead ends.
In the section labeled Scott Cawthon's minigame guide, readers are told to go look at fan wiki websites for more information. This seems like an obvious hint to go searching for some hidden ARG, but we haven't been able to find anything, so this might just be part of the fake history this chapter presents. This probably means that everything we need is solely within the book itself. Analyzing the text, we notice that despite the chapter being titled Chica's Secret Party, if you look closely at the supposed screenshots, the game itself is actually called Chica's New Party. We took this as a potential clue toward a puzzle and started substituting the...
Also, new is actually in yellow. It's going to be a new Chica.
word secret for new and vice versa throughout the rest of the text, but it got us nowhere.
After noticing some odd phrases in the book, like super fast being one word, and how often they'd use synonym after synonym after synonym in the same sentence, and also how they use the word sneakily so often it hurt readability, I got to thinking that
Maybe a dyslexic person wrote it, huh? Maybe.
maybe we were supposed to find a secret code embedded in the words. The opening section says that Chica has to hop and jump through levels. Again, there with the synonyms. So I thought we might have to hop and jump over specific words. This line of thought also applied to the security logbook, where some people thought we had to use the tally marks to find certain words on certain pages. This didn't end up being the case, but it was possible that Scott took this idea and actually implemented it in this new book.
I know you guys tried so many ways of doing this too, like taking each number mentioned in the book and then counting each word from the beginning of that section. If the section had 2 cupcakes, then count every other word to spell a secret message, which didn't work. Or using the Zabal code from Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events.
That was actually a book? That was a movie.
Where whenever a text
Movie.
mentions a bell ringing, as Secret Party does, you count the first word after ring and then each subsequent 11th word to get a code. But once again, to no avail.
I spent, and I kid you not, over 4 hours trying to see if there was a URL for an unlisted YouTube video hidden in the text. I highlighted every instance of the letters YOUTUBE.COMWATCH, and I found nothing, and I gave up because there were 0 slashes in the text.
In a cryptic live stream, DJ Sturf, who again contributed toward this book, recommended people go to a library and scan these pages. So Gibby took his physical copy of the book and tried holding pages up to the light, checking to see if there were secret messages or hidden overlaps between pages. We hoped
That'd be kind of hard to do, to be honest. That would be really hard to do for every book.
maybe the numbers in the corner of the screenshots would become more visible and reveal something, but nope. The book mentions how shadows are important and that we should follow them, so we specifically checked the next chapter, which would be this section's shadow for secrets, but we didn't find anything there either.
We tried to find
That depends. You could be going forward.
each location mentioned in the chapter and assign it to a different room across the FNAF franchise. So the bedroom could be the bedroom from FNAF 4. The room with the man at the desk could be Deskman's house from FNAF World.
Nah, I'm still going. It's Murray's house.
There's one screen that seems like it could be the same as one in Mangel's Quest. You can tell because there's windows in the background. So maybe those are the same room. We tried to make a layout of the house from Chica's Secret Party using other rooms from across the franchise, and it doesn't work. Since Chica's Secret Party is after Help Wanted 2, but before Secret of the Mimic, which is where the Into the Pit game should go, a game that doesn't even get its own chapter despite being featured on the front cover, I thought this was a clue that we should look into Jeff's Pizza from that game. And I looked at the layout of that restaurant, and you can do absolutely nothing with it. Since this minigame is all
No, because that's the layout of the original Freddy's.
about feeding babies cupcakes, I looked into the minigame from Sister Location where you have to feed kids cupcakes in a certain order and thought maybe you could apply that order to the book's order, but it doesn't work. None of this works.
I think the problem isn't even finding puzzle pieces that might work together. I mean, there's plenty of things to try, but the issue is not knowing where we're supposed to input those pieces. The survival logbook, for example, is entirely self-contained. The Cassidy word search hints that you're supposed to input the my name clues into it, whereas this book has absolutely no clear guide as to where to look or what to do if there is indeed a puzzle.
Absolutely. It's also tough when previous mysteries like the Mimic literally couldn't have been solved until the release of Secret of the Mimic. There just weren't enough answers given to solve that mystery before the reveal. And a lot of people think similarly about Chica's Secret Party, because for all we know, it could be a mini-game in an upcoming sequel, or whatever the code is could translate to something within that game, maybe a pathway or a code within a program. But right now, it's just useless information with no sense of when we'll ever get the answer. And because of that, as well as everything you've all said, I think the community is just tired. The logbook came out during the height of FNAF excitement, and while the lore was always confusing, there wasn't so much that it felt impossible. Whereas now, post-security breach, things feel more confusing than ever. While Secret of the Mimic has done a bit to fix this, giving us clear answers about Edwin and the Mimic, there's still a lot we don't understand.
That guy. I think this is more key to him, because you did have. That's a 3-story building with a basement. The factory. where you did have a Chica skating around with a cupcake.
And that's frustrating. The fan base is tired. They want answers. We want answers, not more mysteries that are even more cryptic. All of that may be why people haven't flocked to solve this thing the same way. People are tired of trying to solve this 12-year-old franchise. But the thing is, this community is amazing. The amount we've solved over those last 12 years is incredible. The fact that we understand any of the story is a testament to that. So we want to ask you all, let's put our differences aside and band together one more time. This is the most obvious clue to a mystery that Scott has ever given us, and I am certain there's an answer in here. We've given you the foundations to work with. There might be things we've missed, or we might have the right clues but have solved them incorrectly. Either way, we need the thousands of minds in this community to find those gaps and put the pieces back together. Maybe it will solve Midnight Motorist. Maybe it will solve the Blob. Maybe it will predict what this new game actually is. But until then, it's all just a theory.
A game theory. Thanks for watching.
Okay, so last thoughts on it, just because I haven't gotten it, and I don't think I probably will go get it. But just quick thoughts on it. If like this, where they placed it, I think there is an emphasis of its importance to this. I think in the chapter, because it says it's right before Secrets of the Mimic, I think that's a clue of when in the timeline it really happened. I think it means it happened prior to Secret of the Mimic. So, if Freddy's, in my theory, owned all the characters, this is like high school age, college age William and Henry, William Afton, Henry, Emily, just being prime of them doing, getting everything off the ground. One of their wives could have played Chica. And she could have went there, and it could have been all this stuff. And she ran into, of course, Edwin Murray. And she could have been like, oh, do I fall in love? Should I go with William, or should I go with Henry? If I fall in love with William, that's not good, but who knows? I don't know. I would have to get the book. I am planning on playing the FNAF series again and trying to solve more of the FNAF, but that is it. That's all I have. I'll see you weird people later.